Hello, welcome to Messing About with Models. Today I'm going to show you a build I've done on the Dapol 20-ton BR brake van kit. This kit originally came out from Airfix back in the 60s, and even now it's still a pretty reasonable kit in terms of the level of detail and accuracy, etc. But I'm going to try and upgrade it as I go along with a couple of things, the moulded on handrails, and try to add some glazing. I'm going to use obviously my plastic magic glue, usual set of tools that I have for wagon kit builds, glue and glaze from Deluxe Materials, which is designed to create windows in small openings, and obviously I'm going to use some 0.5mm brass rod for the handrail. So let's open up the kit and see what we've got inside. Comes with Dapol's quite good set of instructions. They've got an exploded view of all the kit pieces, which are numbered. Seems to be all relatively straightforward, and I'm going to follow the instructions as much as possible, but I'm obviously going to deviate from them in a few ways to improve the kit. If we get out all the parts, just identify them. We can see there's actually quite a bit of flash on the kit. It does have metal wheels, which will have to be removed. The flash, that is, will have to be removed. So let's get started on preparing the kit and preparing all the pieces that we'll need to assemble. Obviously the first task is to remove all the items from the sprues, removing any flash as we go along. Just filing off some of these edges here, just giving them a little gentle rub just to smooth them down. Good to make sure that all the kit parts go together really smoothly. I suppose it's no surprise there's this much flash there. The tooling is 50 years old at least, so you're always going to get that with old tooling, but the details actually stayed up quite well on the rest of the kit. So we'll start with adding the chassis to the floor of the van. With this particular kit, the brake gear needs to be glued to the sole bars separately, and they're actually quite small items. I think if I was doing this again, rather than using the plastic magic liquid poly cement, I would actually maybe use some super glue to try and get a stronger bond, because they kept falling off all the way through the build. And but here, before I do that, I'm just removing the moulded handrails on the outer sides of the floor of the wagon, just using a craft knife and just gently shaving off the tops until it's flush with the rest of the floor of the wagon. Of course, you don't need to do this. You can still build it with the moulded handrails and it'll still be a pretty good kit. If you've seen my video on weathering a brake van, that was a weathering of a Hornby Railroad model which has moulded handrails. There's still models out there today that have moulded details on like that. So and here I'm just taking off the moulded detail with off the sides, various handrails and grab handles. Just a case of using the craft knife, taking off little bits at a time, slicing away from you. It's much easier to take off too little than it is to take off too much. Here I am drilling some holes in the sides of the kit where the moulded on handrails used to be, just sort of top and bottom, so that I can locate the handrail wire in position using a little pin vise. And although it's 0.5mm rod, I'm using 0.6mm drill bit because it's helpful to have a slightly larger hole. And also using a handrail bending jig. This one is a scale ruler cross jig from DCC Concepts, and this made it really easy to bend all the handrails for the right size, creating nice 90-degree turns for the handrails at the right distance, so that in theory they all slotted in together. Then just trimming the ends to length. And fitting them into the holes provided. This was quite a fiddly stage, needed quite a bit of wiggling. So and then trimming off the excess wire as it had come through there in the top. And what I'd done is I'd applied all the handrails to the various sections of the body before assembly, and then it was just a question of sort of assembling the sides onto the chassis. I think that if I was to do this again, one change I would make is maybe to leave the handrails until the body's been assembled and painted. So the various sides go together relatively straightforwardly. And the outer ends of the veranda. This particular piece just needs a little bit of extra finessing to get it to slot into the right position. Again, I think that's part of the moulding. It just cause the lug to be slightly larger than the hole. There we have it, just the roof to add on. And it looks quite impressive. There we go. Now on to painting the wagon. I'm going to use obviously some rail match bauxite, some weathered black, some white for the handrails. And I think another reason for leaving the handrails is maybe it's easier to paint without that on. Likewise, I'd fitted the footboards to the chassis so the model was essentially complete. I think in future I would leave those off and also leave the wheels and couplings off until the chassis had been painted. It was a little tricky getting in past all the footboards. The roof I'm going to give a first coat of light grey and then mix in a little bit of weathered black just to darken it off, and then obviously paint the body bauxite all round. It's going to be a fitted brake van, and obviously that means it's going to be brown. This actually needed a couple of coats. There you have it once the van's been finished. I don't think that looks too bad. Certainly very enjoyable to sort of lift up the basic plastic model. And here it is on the layout. So please like, comment, and hit the subscribe button, and check out the other kit builds that are on the screen now. And see you next time. Bye.